Hello there and welcome to another of my drawing video. In this video, I wanted to share tips about learning from tracing. But what I will share in this video is kinda like black magic in drawing world. It could be used, but a lot of people hated this idea, and if used poorly, it will give you bad image. What I will be focusing in this video is not to learn and master tracing as your main tool, but rather to see tracing as a stepping stone to improve your artwork. So let's get started with that in mind. As you can see here, in the beginning, I will just plainly trace the overall lines in this photo. The most important thing is to feel the lines and the position of each parts. Analyze how the jaw lines work, where did they curve, and how bigger they are than the inside of the face. Also analyze where are the eyes, how far is it from the chin, and how small it is compared to the overall face. Then see what makes the nose. Where does the curve from the lips comes, and how did the hair shape its form? You can also sketch a Loomis head over the photo to compare with the real proportion. Now, when you are finished with the rough sketch, you can see that this sketch looks really realistic. That's because we're just plainly tracing the image. In a photo, however, there is this thing called lens distortion. The further you are from the center, the bigger the distortion will be. So you may see your photo kinda bloated or skinnier based on the angle and composition. So what you will see is different from the real person. But how did you recognize that it is the same people? I will try to tweak this sketch further to explain that. First, I will make the nose smaller, since smaller nose in character design usually looks cuter for a woman. Important note, it is not because the person in this photo is not cute enough, but I just want to make this look a little bit more fantasy-like. Now as you can see, her shape is already been tweaked, but we still feel that it is the same people. That is because what I'm changing is not the main feature of her face. In this photo, her strongest feature is her eyes and eyebrow. You can liquefy someone's nose a bit and it will still feel like them. Same thing as a caricature. You may draw the nose bigger than the original one, but people still recognize that it is them. As long as we make their features similar to the original one, you don't have to worry about the sizes of the proportion. But sometimes, the facial proportion is their main feature. For example, if someone has a nose and mouth which is extremely close, changing its distance will make them feel different. That is why, if you want to draw from photo, you should analyze first what is their strongest feature which people recognize. Now, I'm gonna make her eye bigger to make it more fantasy-like. See, if I'm just changing it proportionally, while still keeping her eyes shape, which is her strongest feature, it still looks like her. So if you want to draw someone's face, don't worry too much about getting specifically the same size, as long as you draw their features right. Eye is usually the most defining feature of the head. If they have an eye which is slanted upward, do not draw downward eyes. If they have pointy eyes, do not draw rounded anime eyes for them. For the hair, I'm just gonna follow the lines here. There are a lot of lines to choose, and I'm just gonna choose the line which is interesting for me. I might add new lines too. Next, I'm gonna make some line thicker than the other. You might notice this a lot from Nomura style. Usually, the spot which has thicker line is the one where the shadows are darker. For example, this hair corners is the best place to make thicker line, since there are usually dark shadows there. Just imagine where the shadow would drop harder and make those lines thicker. Next up, I'm just going to clean the lines from the sketch, nothing special. I think that's all for the line, so I will start going into the coloring session. I won't be explaining too much here, since it is not the focus on this video. I will make another tutorial later for coloring with better explanation. The general step is to make the base color layer first, and then make it as a base clipping mask to make it easier to color. After that, I will be going into shading the first shade. I will usually add up to 2 layers of shade and 1 layer of overlay or highlight. I will just let you see how I worked on the coloring in this video. So that's all for today. I hope you learned something from this video. Remember, use tracing as a learning method, not as your main tool. It will be better if you can draw without tracing first, and then draw with tracing afterwards and compare the results. What can you improve from your original drawing? This is not the only way to learn though. So if you don't feel comfortable with the idea of tracing, you don't have to force yourself. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.